the time that apple was planted, where it was harvested, and all that you need to know about the nutritional facts about that product. And we can do that. It's very possible. It's just for us to be intentional about purpose. Someone say intentional about purpose. You must be very, very intentional about purpose. If you want to go into agriculture, make it a business. Make it a business. Gone were the days that, oh, let me plant food on the table. No. Beyond food on the table, even if they put food on the table, like I said in one of the programs, you know, you must have an idea on how to take out a little of what has been presented on the table, either to share to your neighbors or preserve it and reproduce it for your kindred. Do we get that? So let's make it an intentional, purpose that we are here for something good for not just you, but for everyone. Like I always said, no matter what you do in life, you must leave a legacy. Legacy is not houses that we build. Legacy is not the new cars that you drive. Legacy is what your children will come to build on. It can be a farm. I have seen a business name that, the third and fourth generation are managing it now. And they started from a little farm. So you can be that person that will start up, and the children and children yet unborn will come to appreciate what you started small. So start small and grow big. That's why we are here to tell you that, you can do it. We are here to encourage you, and I know that if you are intentional about your purpose, you can do it and you can get there. God bless you. You're all welcome to Akwa Ibom State. For the fact that I live in Calabar, Cross River State, I am an Akwa Ibomite. That's why you heard the name Aniefio, which is a native name. Thank you so much. I love you all. God bless you.
Thank you so much, Doctor. Please, a round of applause for her again. So up next, we'll be moving to the next to the next goodwill message by Dr. Clement Uwem, who is also the National Coordinator for Rural Institutions for IFAD. Please, a round of applause for him till he gets to the stage. Don't get tired, please. Another one.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everybody. There is no reason why we should stay as if we are mourning. Are we mourning? Thank you very much. Just like the MC said, my name is Dr. Clement Uwem. I am the Rural Institution Youth and Gender Coordinator of Life Ending Projects in the Niger Delta. I would say two things. One about my position and the projects, and the other one my private life, if that will inspire you. Right here in this hall, I have two of my students, distinguished students. One can produce up to 15 bags of cucumber in one day. Please, can we clap for Udwak Ruben? Udwak, please, can you stand up? I'm not a lecturer that just taught students that don't produce. The second one is Esther, a banker with the UBA, but she's here. Please, can we clap for her? I love what the last speaker said. Impacts and purposeful lifestyle. There was a time in Nigeria where if you hardly see somebody apply to study agriculture in the Nigerian university. True or false? Am I correct? But when they get hungry, they will look for agriculture. So it's either you are pulled into agriculture or you are pushed into agriculture. Either way, you find yourself in agriculture. I work for a project called Livelihood Improvement Family Enterprises Niger Delta, the only IFAD project in the Niger Delta. The target of the projects is you women and youth of the Niger Delta. To do what? To turn them to become agribusiness operators within the Niger Delta. And the project is implemented in 6 states. Currently, the 3 states have been added, with the remittance by the NDDC, which had not paid their counterpart before now. So our target is to train women and youth who are unemployed or underemployed from the ages of 15 to 35, and also women-headed households. I want to urge the group, please, whenever you are mobilizing people for agriculture, do not forget a major pillar of the Sustainable Development Goal, which talk about social inclusion. Persons living with disability. Always try to reach out to their group and invite them. My experience in the project shows that when you empower people, the least number that will get or abandon an intervention are persons living with disability. I don't know whether that makes sense to you. Does it make sense to you? And if you want your project to be seen as a socially inclusive project, you must not ignore this vulnerable group of people. Women-headed households and persons living with disability. The time has come when we need to advocate for our women. The time has come when we need to correct the mistakes of the past. So to see young men and women forming a group that promotes agriculture makes a lot of sense. Today in Nigeria, if you look at statistics from the National Bureau of Statistics, you realize that our inflation rate is about 21%. But if you look at food inflation, it's about 37.778%. So at any point in time, for every 100 naira you are going to buy food, that food can only buy 100 minus 37 naira. That is why one day my son came back and said, Daddy, the tomato I bought for 500 naira is too small. I said, yes, that's why I studied agriculture. The Niger Delta Development Commission and IFAD and the federal government is implementing a project that is training agribusiness men and women. And I'll urge this group to try to have a collaboration with Life ND. To date, not less than 23,000 youths in the region have been empowered and made to become agribusiness and women. And we have implemented in such a way that Life ND is implementing not less than 14 of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations. So we have issue of social inclusion, we have financial inclusion, gender mainstreaming, nutrition-sensitive agriculture, climate-smart agriculture, and the actual agribusiness. And I bet you have seen some of the youth using apps that help them to make their business better, and some are already exporting. So for this group, please, I want you to look at export. I just came back from Ethiopia 2 Wednesdays ago. And traditionally, they have carried the weeding hoe and kept in the museum. They said, no longer are we going to use this kind of traditional method of farming. So the hoe is in the museum in Ethiopia. And sad enough, we are not producing. The last speaker was talking about clearing 42 containers and not even 2 going outside. Guess what? Nigeria is supposed to have 3 export processing zones with a population of over 200 million people. But I'm not sure they are functional. Thailand, with a population of less than 30 million, has 47 export processing zones. What are they exporting? Produce that they have. And Nigeria has a lot of potential for agricultural business. Most of the Nigerian rice are packaged and written as foreign rice. True or false? True or false? Most of the feed you see written Copen are not foreign feeds. They are locally produced. Am I correct? So the opportunities in agribusiness is endless. And I can challenge you that this is opportunity that you can leverage on. I was a youth, very young person, when Nigeria conducted census 1991. We were 88.5 million people. Today, we are over 200 million people within a space of how many years? And it's growing. So with the growing population, there's also growth for food. But let me also warn, it's a problem of regulation. Some of the food that are being brought to the market are not wholesome. So this group need to also look at the agriculture extension policy and ensure that the food we eat are wholesome. Some people are producing food that are not wholesome because you find everybody coming to agriculture. So we need to look at that. But the opportunities are endless. In Akwa Ibom said here, you have 22 out of 31 local government that can support the growth of cocoa. But unfortunately, I'm not sure up to 10% is being used. And 1 kilogram of cocoa sells for 5,000 naira. So multiply that by 100 kg, you know the money. Madam understands what I'm talking about. The opportunities are endless. So I want us to talk about financial inclusion. I want to talk about agribusiness. I want us to talk about bringing people to the rural area. I was so happy when I saw a nurse came into agriculture and she was using container of drip to supply water to her garden. And there's drip irrigation in agriculture. So everybody needs to come into agriculture and file behind this wonderful group. So for what we are going to get here is much. Now, that's the public life. I bring you much greetings from the National Project Coordinator, Engineer Abiodun Sani, who is the National Project Coordinator of Life ND. For my personal life, currently I've farmed 2 hectares of cassava, and I'm planting oil palm. I planted oil palm in 2022. As I speak now, I can show you oil palms in my farm that has up to 16 bunches on one stem. And I have close to 400 of them as we speak. So I will invite the group to visit my farm as part of the activity for coming to Agribusiness so that we can take messages home. That means a lot. Finally, if you can offtake ginger or turmeric, I have a land we can go into MOU. I can give you that produce in 4 months. We are going to talk about agribusiness. We are going to talk about innovations. These are the driving forces that makes food available. And there is no hungry man that can withstand anything. In fact, when you meet the doctor, the first question he asks you, have you eaten? So if you have not eaten, you cannot be given drugs. So let me end with my secondary school note in economics. Unknown to me, my economics teacher was using Paul Samuelson's book called Economics to teach us economics. I didn't know. He said, 1% increase in unemployment sustained for 5 years will lead to 20,000 deaths. People are dying of hunger, take it from me, and we need to reverse the trend. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you so much, sir. Another round of applause for him, please. It's not easy to be in the public life and also be a farmer. All right, next, I would like to call on Ambassador Christabel Ndubisi, the chairman of Agri-Trade Group of the South-South. Ma'am, you're welcome, ma'am. Please, a round of applause for her. Don't get tired. Another one. You have 5 minutes, ma'am.
Good day, everyone, and welcome to Agribusiness. My name is Ambassador Mrs. Christabel. I'm the chairman of Agri-Trade Group of the South-South Chambers of Commerce, Agriculture, Mines, and Mines. You're welcome. I'm happy to be here this morning. I've been in Agribusiness since Sunday, attending one agri program or the other because this is our covering area. We are in the 6 states of the South-South. And my own prerogative is to ensure that agriculture is not just seen as what it was before. I'm an entrepreneur, and so I'm one that left oil and gas to become an entrepreneur at the age of 37. And I did not just leave, I left as an entrepreneur and I'm an agricultural person. So I left oil to agric. And that means a lot to me. So, and that should mean a lot to everyone here because that is where the real deal is. You might think it's oil, so you met someone who left oil, agriculture. Because a hungry person can't speak nothing if it's not well fed. So we owe the future, we owe the life. I want to encourage each and every one here. I know there are challenges that we are, especially as women and youth, are facing in agriculture, which is access to land preparation and land development, access to right inputs, access to market, access to finance. You could hear it called finance last. Because if you have land and you have land preparation, land development, then you're almost done. If you're an entrepreneur, you could take it out from there. But so I want this group to please look at how those of us who are many should have access to land. Because as we know traditionally, not so many women are privileged to have access to land. So we know that challenge. And so if we can be able to collaborate with the chambers of commerce, we'll be able to figure out things that can make it easy for would-be business owners in the agri sector to thrive. So as a chamber in the South-South, we are available to collaborate with your organization to handhold people and advocate for those challenges that are inherent in the agri sector to make it a bit easy for us to strive in it. And as you know, there is hunger in the land. And so it is the onus lies on all of us to make a change. We must make a change. Apart from feeding the population that is increasing every day, funny enough, there are so many children, in thousands and millions are born on a monthly basis. And I wonder how many people are going to agriculture on a monthly basis. So the question is not balanced. But if we have, capacity built in this area, where you have big-time farmers groomed, and then those farmers empower other farmers, you'll be sure of having a sustainable livelihood in terms of food. So I welcome everyone to please take this seriously in the Niger Delta and in the South-South, because we have all it takes, actually, just as the Secretary said, to feed Nigeria. Me coming from Cross River State, we have so many arable land. We have more than 23,000 kilometers of land mass. And that is a whole lot of resource we can put into action. We can feed Nigeria and feed almost so many places. So let's not take this trivial, but let's plunge in and take this opportunity seriously and make the best use of it. If there are challenges that we know that are inherent, I think this organization should be able to network opportunities and systems that we can use and write synergies that can be put in place to dismantle it. So I welcome you all to South-South, and I wish that this event will be laudable. God bless you all for coming. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ma. Please put your hands together again for her, for fertilizing our minds on the different aspects and different ways we can actually get involved in agriculture. Ladies and gentlemen, sometime last year, the president of Nigeria had actually declared a state of emergency in the agricultural sector. And Dr. Clement actually exposed our minds that you really may not have to get to the farm, but it's a long chain where we just must be involved. And we do not need to tell ourselves a lie. There is hunger in the land. In fact, at this point, if you are living in your own facility where you used interlocking tiles or something, you may have to go break it out and plant pawpaw, plant pumpkin, plant okra, because it's going to feed your family. And I'm sure all the ladies will nod their head and say, tell them, tell them, tell them. Thank you so much, Ambassador Christabel Ndubisi, for also marketing Cross River State and the arable land. The yams we eat, everybody wants to eat Ogoja yam, want to eat Ugeb Gari. That is how it is. And I'm sure Cross Riverians are there clapping. All right. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we have here also for a goodwill message, the Assistant Chief Social Welfare Officer, and also from the Ministry of Women Affairs and Social Welfare, Akwa Ibom State, Mr. Itoro Yu Benson. Please celebrate a man who is coming to represent women in the Ministry of Women Affairs and Social Welfare. Ladies and gentlemen, also for those of you tweeting or putting out our messages, don't forget to use the hashtag. And for the program, you have the tags on your neck. Please scan it to get the program. Please scan the barcode to get the program for today. Yes, please just scan it to get the barcode. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much. Good morning, all. I'm Itoro Benson, representing the Honorable Commissioner of the Ministry of Women Affairs and Social Welfare, Akwa Ibom State. She is unavoidably absent. Actually, she's right now in Jos Plateau State attending a women conference, national conference there. We in the Ministry of Women Affairs and Social Welfare, we are so pleased to have an invitation from this super group, the Wayfarc. When we gone through some of the activities organized by the Wayfarc, the ministry was so pleased. And of course, Ministry of Women Affairs and Social Welfare is a ministry that is taking care of the women of the Akwa Ibom states and children and persons with disabilities. And of course, that is my direct department, working in the Department of Rehabilitation. The gender and Dr. Clement, the gender and youth specialist, has said something that we shouldn't forget the vulnerable group. Akwa Ibom State government, actually, like first Friday and third Friday, is a farm day in Akwa Ibom State. That place, how serious the government of Akwa Ibom State take on the agriculture. So we in the ministry and department taking care of persons with disabilities, we organize them. I can say that the 31 local government, persons with disabilities have their own farm, which of course I'm a supervising officer. That is one aspect. Not only in farming as per agricultural crops, and so they are into fish farming, marketing also, which of course is also part of the agriculture. And of course, women, we are also categorizing different groups to also foster unity, because you know that an hungry man is an angry man. So Ministry of Women Affairs came into the policy of the Akwa Ibom State by way of making food to be on every table. We are one of the ministry partnering with the Ministry of Youth to make that policy come to fore. So we are happy and also want to please that when I return after tomorrow, I will feedback the Honorable Commissioner, the Permanent Secretary, and of course the leadership of the ministry. And we are looking forward to work with Wayfarc so that the life of the women of Akwa Ibom State and the person with disabilities will continue to be better. Thank you. God bless everyone.
Thank you very much, sir. Indeed, it's 2 days and not 1 day from the Golden Boy. Very appreciative and very nice. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, plowing ahead, we would love to bring the DG of NABG in the person of Mr. Jafar Abubakar Umar. Please celebrate him. Put your hands together as we invite our able DG to give us more insight on today. Please celebrate him until he gets here. Put your hands together, clap your hands, be excited for him. They have done this in the Southwest, and this is South-South. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much. Before I go into good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I hope we all got here safely. I made a very, very, very good friend today who is, he hasn't yet demonstrated his capability yet, but I'm very sure he would. So I would invite him to join me on stage to say a few words to the youths of this very lovely state. The man with the ability, please put your hands together for Mr. Ability. That's actually his name, Ability. Please put your hands together now. The man is able. So ginger our youth, Mr. Ability, before I go into why we're here.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Good morning. Good morning, Nigeria. Good morning, South-South. I'm glad to be here. He's talking about the ability of making sure that he eats from the proceeds of the land, which I'm going to make him enjoy our meals. Thank you so much. Very quick, on behalf of the youths of the South-South, Niger Delta, and Akwa Ibom State, I'm here to... It's fine? Okay. I'm here to encourage all the youth to please engage in what we are doing today. It's been a very long journey since I moved into this field, you know, and merging it with even tech. But time will fail me to talk about that. I am standing here under the umbrella of Bright Flow Logistics, which is a conglomerate and does a whole lot of stuff when it comes to international trade. And then we, as the coordinator of diversity, focused trade diversity, which we've gone around the South-South region, every state, to do sensitization programs for youth and women. So we are the real facilitators of programs like this because it focuses on youth and women. And like other speakers have talked about it, it is long gone where everybody focuses on white-collar jobs, oil, and then every other aspect that people just follow. When we have so much more in our diversities outside oil. We have so much more. And then, like we have, so glad to see Dr. Morris. Welcome, sir. Good to see you. He's one of us in the Focus Trade Diversity. He owns, welcome, sir. God bless you, large numbers of farmland in the Cross River State and abroad. He has an amazing seeds that can help you grow your agricultural business. Those seeds that can stand challenged of pesticides and fungicides and whatever you need. And people around our sphere and in our network have been having proceeds in millions. People have pulled out from their jobs. Bankers, I don't want to go into the, but don't leave your job. That's not what I mean. But there is wealth and there is gold in agricultural business. And aside from, other speakers have talked about the well-being of our nutrition, being the one that processes your food, you know, balancing up with the high population in the state. One of the lazy group of people who have put away from agribusiness are the youth. So I am here challenging my fellow youth to please be a part of this. And when I enter into the agricultural business, apart from the sensitization program that have gone around, I've also focused on international trade and logistics because it will encourage you to produce in volumes. When you look at just your local area, you may be inspired, but not much more. But when you look at international trade, so many things come into play. The standards, the processing, the packaging, right? You will learn a lot of things. The way we do things here without consultation, you might do it mediocrity way. But when you engage in international trade, you bring standards into play. So I call on the youths of the South-South and the youths of this state to please engage. This is an amazing opportunity for us to engage. And trust me, there is so much prosperity in diversity. And God bless you if you do it. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Excellent. Good morning once again, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Do we have young people here? They are not. Do we have young people here? I don't know whether we should play for you guys the video of the Wayfarc in the Southwest. You could feel the energy vibrating from the room because young people came together. Do we have young people here? No, wake up now. So, good morning again. My name is Jafar. I am the DG of the Nigeria Agribusiness Group. I am very, very happy to be here in the South-South, specifically in Uyo. This is my first time. I'm still exploring. I can't say I am excited because I've been sleeping since I've been here. Apparently, our young people are not as engaging as I thought. Precious, don't look at me. I'm hoping that day one of Wayfarc will change my mind. You know that if you are in the South-South, you could not say you enter South-South. I never see evidence. So do we have young people here? You know, make it high energy now. We are young people. We know the country is hard. We know there are issues. We know say money no day. But Wayfarc is actually an opportunity for us to begin to turn all of this around. One thing I can tell you for sure, right? Dr. Annie has spoken, Ambassador has spoken, Sir Clement has spoken. We've heard all this talk, I am sure like we've heard a lot of them before. But the only thing that will make your coming here to be different is what you end up doing here. What you end up taking away from this conference. So technically, your future, especially in agribusiness, right now is in your hands. The people seated next to you, if you came here in a group and you sat yourselves in a group and you are planning to leave that same group, sorry for you. If you came here thinking, I know they do anything for house, let me just go to this conference and do, you have an opportunity. But if you end up going back to your bed to sleep just for whiling away time today, you would have lost. This very conference, the Women and Youth Conference, is an opportunity for you to explore so many different opportunities, new partnerships, new initiatives, and potentially begin or expand that already beneficial idea that you have for agribusiness. This is that opportunity for where it can kick off. It all depends on what you do with it. In the room, we have agribusinesses, we have trade specialists, we have access to finance specialists, we have people who have been in the game for so long that they understand the cheat codes. What are some of the effective shortcuts to get you there? But you won't know them if you sit within your group and your circle. You won't know them if you don't converse. You won't know them if you don't pay attention to what's going to happen behind me on these 5 chairs today. So Wayfarc, an initiative of the Nigeria Agribusiness Group, is an opportunity for young people that are in agribusiness or plan to go into agribusiness to explore the myriad of opportunities and potentials to actually begin to make money. This is not about charity. We're not here to support, have mercy on people. People are, yes, there is hunger in the land. What are we doing about that hunger? Are we still waiting for the government to come and give it to us? Young people, if that's what you're looking to, what program is the government putting out and all that for us to explore, then maybe Wayfarc isn't for you. For us here, we're about where is that niche? Where is that opportunity that perhaps a lot of people have missed that you can explore, that you can take up, but not to take up only on your own? Is your neighbor doing something similar? Let me give you an example. This is something I learned in Lagos. Who here knows peak milk? Who has drank peak milk before? No, they lie. Yeah? Papilo came from where? Yeah? Kanu is from where? Yeah? Abia State. Kanu the footballer, Abi? Arochukwu in Abia State. Yeah, it's from my place. Yeah, I didn't know. You are from Arochukwu too. Okay, you see, I've already met my sister. But we remember the Papilo advert for that peak milk, Nabi. So we remember peak milk, right? It's been produced by a company called Fraseland Campino. Did you know that all the peak milk and their yogurt and the other different products that they produce is milk-based, Abi? We know it's from milk. Did you know that they don't produce up to 10% of that milk in Nigeria? Do you know where it comes from? Different countries, Netherlands, everywhere, people that have cows. Imagine the number of tins of milk and powder of milk that is imported into Nigeria to produce all of this milk we take, 3 Crown, Peak, and all of that. They produce millions and sell millions into the market every day, but 10% of the product that they use to produce that milk is only comes from Nigeria. The rest of the 90% comes from outside Nigeria. Where do we get milk from? From cows. Fraseland Campino right now, as I speak to you, is going around the country not in these literal words, but begging to get milk, cow's milk, so that they can produce their pig milk and nunu and all of that. Tell me that's not an opportunity. If the 5 or 10 of you seated around that table now begin to think, how can we put 200K, 500K together and buy just, let's start with just one cow to see how many liters we're able to produce. Say now till the next, we're in, let's say November. By November of 2025, where could we possibly be? Do we still have 1 or 2 cows? So when we talk about livestock farming, I'm not saying you should be like Aliu's people, the Fulani, moving around from north to west. No, you have your heads of cattle seated there, producing milk for you, that this company is going around the country begging to buy. So if you have 500,000 liters of milk right now, Pick Milk will come and pick it up. And not just them, there are so many companies looking for that. That's just one value chain. So the idea behind Wayfarc today is we are going to be having expert conversations. We are going to be talking about opportunities like this that only young people are able to decipher. Okay, so I can quickly jump into this by creating a gap here and do a supply chain. And even if you don't think our 200 million population can give you the market to buy your goods, Dr. Hani just talked about out of 10 containers coming in, only 2, maybe, that's even if you're lucky, are going out. Some of you have heard of the stories where planes that bring in cargo, they go back with sandbags so that to balance the plane because there is nothing we can push out. Isn't that also yet another opportunity? I didn't understand the export game before until I met Dr. Ani a few years ago in Calabar, where it became apparent that it's not rocket science, it's very possible. So, let me not dive in too much. The idea behind taking this much time to break all of this is so that you understand, young people, that your destiny is technically really in your hands. It all depends on how you're able to identify an opportunity and go after it. Who you are going to work with to bring that dream of yours into reality. They say technically, you never know where you might find your helper, that word, or your partner. And it doesn't have to be those group or that group that you came with. It can be someone you are meeting here today or someone you're going to hear about today. So, let me go back into the main cause of why I'm on this stage. Is my presentation ready? Let's have the slides on board. By show of hands, who here before today has heard of the NABG? If you've heard of NABG, let me see your hand. Before today. I can see just 1, 2, 3 out of, okay, it's 4 people. Okay. So the NABG stands for the Nigeria Agribusiness Group, as I'm sure you've seen in the documents and materials. And the NABG is a private sector platform. We are not government. We're a private sector platform for agribusinesses. So imagine the table you are seated in are all individual agribusinesses. Then you decide to say, okay, why don't we come together, create a platform or a system where we can advocate for issues that affect us as agribusinesses. That's how NABG was given birth to. It was a bunch of agribusinesses coming together. And now when I mean agribusiness, I don't mean your backyard agribusiness. I mean proper agribusinesses. Who here has heard of very loud. Who here has heard of Ulam? Ulam Agri. Who has heard of Flour Mills of Nigeria? Who has heard of the, okay, maybe if I say TGI Group, you will know. Who has heard of Wakot? Wakot Rice, Big Bull Rice. We've heard of them before. So these mega agribusinesses are the ones that came together to create the NABG so that it can advocate for policies and reforms that can affect agribusinesses and their ability to do business as effectively as possible. So, the NABG exists essentially to support the growth of agribusiness. And we also exist to support the transition of your typical farmer, someone they call a smallholder farmer, to not just see himself or herself as a farmer, but an agribusiness. If you treat agriculture as a business, the likelihood that you will reap a lot more benefits from that agriculture is very, very high. However, if you treat agriculture as something I need to find something to put in my belly and eat, then it is likely to remain that same way for you. Which is why, with no disrespect intended to our grandfathers and forefathers, I've always treated agriculture as that, a way to feed the family. But agriculture is bigger than that. As I'm sure a lot of experts here have told you or will tell us, agriculture is big business. And that's why we don't even call it agriculture anymore, we call it agri-business. So, the NABG, as I mentioned, has the vision for a food-secure Nigeria, and our core focus is on policy advocacy, creating value chain linkages, and to promote agriculture, climate-smart agriculture, and sustainable practices. Part of the things you would all agree with me is that climate change is real. We are facing it, it's affecting us, and it's a real problem. Let me just explain to you. The Secretary, when she was on the stage, talked about our population rapidly growing. By 2060, or is it 2050, we're estimated to be double the population that we are now. So if we're 200 million now, what are we likely to be by 2050? 400 million. And what climate change is doing to us now is that we are losing value in our land. We are having irregular rainfalls. I don't know if some of you in social media have seen some of the devastation that flood did early this year to agricultural lands up in the north. So imagine what's going to happen by 2050 when these climate issues keep increasing. At the same time, our population and mouths to feed keep increasing. We are going to be in serious trouble. If at the end of the day, all we are going to depend on is other people from other countries to feed us. The NABG wants this trend to be reversed, where we are able to feed ourselves using sustainable practices. We have 4 key strategic objectives. Policy advocacy, as I've mentioned, to advocate for policies and reforms that affect us. Enhance competitiveness of agribusinesses. When we say competitiveness, we're talking about the business end of agriculture. How is your cassava, or your yams, or your vegetables, or your rice, how is it performing against other products in the same market? How competitive are you as an agribusiness in getting value for your investment? Then, as another strategic objective is what we are doing right here, women and youth in agriculture. It was mentioned here that our young people are shying away from agriculture because all we think when we think agriculture and agribusiness is taking hoe and cutlass and going into the farm. That's not it. You don't even have to own a farm to be a player in agribusiness. But what then are you going to do? What opportunity are you taking up? And then lastly, as a strategic objective, our climate-smart agriculture. As I've mentioned, it's critical that we imbibe as we are going into production, into processing. How is it also helping our environment? The land and the soil we inherited from our great-great-grandparents, that value has gone down. The quality of soil back then, today, is no longer there. It is important that we start thinking consciously about doing sustainable practices that will not leave the land impaired, but will leave it better, because our own children and grandchildren are coming. What land are they going to use to do the agribusiness that we are advocating for if we don't take up sustainable practices. So Wayfarc, the key focus is for us to empower women and youth by providing training, networking opportunities, and market linkages to promote inclusivity within agribusiness by breaking down barriers to entry, such as access to finance, land and resources, and to foster entrepreneurship so as to tap into Nigeria's vast agricultural potential. When we were coming here, an unfortunate incident with Ibom Air made us fly through Port Harcourt. And then we drove some 2-3 hours from Port Harcourt to Uyo. And I'm used to driving, by road in the north, and this is vast land and all that. Here, all I could see were thick forests, tall palm trees. And I remember asking my friend Precious, how are we, I don't know if it's because of the road I followed or whatnot, but there was just so much untapped opportunities that I could see. And all I saw were some of these small, village settlements bringing out their coconuts and some plantains and some yams on the road. And that was it. And I could imagine what happened to all the innovation that we could do to actually utilize those resources that are in there. And so I felt a glimmer of hope, because coming into Wayfarc now, discussing with some of you young people that could actually have the opportunity to kickstart something, not on your own, but together with others, to utilize those vast opportunities that Nigeria has given to us for free to begin to turn around our fortunes. The reason why we target women is because women are a significant portion of our agricultural workforce. They say women are 50% of the population. Yet, in most cases, when we say agriculture, the first thing that comes to mind is this guy or that guy. And the woman farmer is often thought of as the small farmer that just does something, in her backyard. But that's actually far from the truth. Because especially in the state I grew up in, I'm from Abia State, but the state I grew up in, which is Kaduna, ginger farmers are women. 90% of them that produce ginger that we export out of the country are actually women. But because they don't treat it as a business, they treat it, well, let's just farm ginger for some Chinese people to come and buy so that we have food to. It's not growing and not giving them the exact value they want. So we want to use Wayfarc as an opportunity to beam the light on women in agribusiness, to demonstrate that beyond small holding, you can actually go into major agricultural value chains. Not just production, but there is processing, there is aggregating, there is logistics, there is storage. There is so much that you are able to do. Pick a niche. Don't go into it on your own. And you are likely to get the value that you want, especially with the right contacts. And for youths, the Nigerian youth represent a dynamic and innovative group, but many of us see agriculture as unattractive. Now, wahala sector. We want to go into a sector where in 3 months, boom, don't they drive S-Class or GLK or whichever one. Agriculture can give you that, but it takes time and it takes patience because you need to build it. Anything that has quality needs time, needs effort. We can become those millionaires we want to only if we do the right thing, if we play the game the way it ought to be played, using our number 6. Are you good with computers? Is that your thing? Agriculture has a space for you. Are you vocal? Are you able to mobilize? Do you know how to talk to people? Agriculture has an opportunity for you. Are you in the arts? I saw some beautifully crafted products just out there. When we go to the exhibition, we see them to be used, for eating. I had no idea we could do something that unique. But it always takes our ability to think and utilize the opportunities that we do have. At the tail end of this, we're going into unveil our, I could say, prized possessions or prize partners who we call regional champions, and they are within the audience here. These regional champions are partners that the NABG is engaging now, mainly young people, men and women, that have their agribusinesses working in agriculture, that is going to partner with the NABG to drive value within this region. And I was very excited when IFAD actually offered an opportunity for us to work together through their programs and others to actually drive this value for more people. We can't expect the change we want to come from outside. It has to come from within. So the NABG with our regional champions are going to take up some of these activities and we will push through. We see them as mini extensions of the NABG. We would help organize step-down trainings, facilitate capacity building, workshops, sensitization on some of the more crucial issues. So think of policies, agricultural policies enacted by federal government in Abuja, but the agribusinesses down in the states have no clue what is happening with regards to that. The conversations around exports and the guidelines that have been created by EU and others, how are you as a young person in agribusiness familiar with that? New innovations in extension, the policies around seed, and some of the products like tomato happening in Abuja, roundtables, discussions that are happening, how is it affecting farmers and smallholders and women that are in agribusiness down in the south? Majority of us do not know. So our regional champions will be playing a critical role in ensuring we bring everyone along, bring everyone up to speed as we drive value within this region. Wayfarc's impacts are clear. There will be capacity that will be built between today and tomorrow. We hope that we would let you know a number of things that many of us here do not know. It's an opportunity to network and create new partnerships. There will be a lot of policy conversations around policy advocacy, especially those that affect us in the South-South. And finally, there will be an opportunity for driving economic growth. All of these are critical for us if we need to attain success. For the future of Nigerian agribusiness, I was quite elated with IFAD having driven a lot of the SDGs. We plan to key into that. And at the end of the day, by involving women, youth, and our regional champions, we are trying to ensure that agribusiness sector is not only competitive, but also inclusive, sustainable, and future-ready. Wayfarc is more than just a conference. It's a movement towards inclusive growth and transformation of Nigerian agriculture. So let's work together to build an agribusiness sector where women, youth, and our regional champions lead the way, driving innovation, sustainability, and growth for a food-secure Nigeria. Thank you very much for listening. And just to reiterate, as we conclude this conference tomorrow, depending on how heavy your bag is, and when I mean bag, not the physical bag, but the conceptual bag of you coming into this conference, we hope it has a lot of space. But you're leaving tomorrow afternoon, we hope it will be heavy with knowledge and information and contacts and relationships that you would have built between today and tomorrow that would have an impact on your agribusiness journey into the future. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. Please put your hands together again for our DG for that lengthy but short welcome remark. Thank you so much, sir. And indeed, he's rooted in Nigeria. I love the fact that he's from Abia State and he grew up in Kaduna and he pronounces Calabar very well. So it's very certain that he is ready to integrate as a full-blown Nigerian.
He is a full-blown Nigerian.
He is a full-blown Nigerian. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're not networking, the Gen Zs will say you're on a long thing. So tell me why you're not networking. While we had our chit chats beside, I told him, I said, "You are a Fulani man. Are you sure you are not a cattle rearer?"
Of course I am.
Good. And when he answered, I was like, "Are you for real?" "No, I'm not joking. I'm not joking." He said, "Yes, I'm a cattle rearer. Tell me more." And you know, I have read and I heard that when it comes up north, the men own the cows and the women own the milk. How true is that?
Very true. So it's a system that it's in generations. So all the men have the cows. The cow is your own, but you dare not touch the milk. The milk are for the women. So automatically it gives the women empowerment. Systems of where they can start their businesses. So everybody has his own share of the animal.
And I'm sure a lot of people who are thinking deep, I hope we have representatives from the Ministry of Culture and Tourism and all other policymakers here. If you think deep to it now, it just has a natural and a cultural setting of tone that everybody should be inclusive in agriculture. So even if the husband wants to be crafty, it's impossible for him to be crafty because the culture says the wife owns the milk. And when we are talking about Friesland Campina and amongst other producers of milk, so we already know that the chain has just moved forward. So they have a business.
With Friesland Campina already.
Already, Abby. Are you signing in for them? Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, if you do not know, this is day 1. So tomorrow we will have day 2. And we also have our hybrid participants at this event. Please, if you are there, hybrid, I wish I had the box here where I'll be monitoring those that are online. There's something when we are online, when we're having online discussions and conversations, we will just hook up online and we are not properly dressed. So if you know you are online now, you only wear a jacket. If you stand up, you will put off the camera. Please, just wave your hand or just make your remark on the box there. Let's know what's going on, being a hybrid participant.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right.
All right. I think we can move to the next please go ahead.
All right, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we have here the Commissioner for Trade and Investment, Akwa Ibom State. He is a very, very detailed man, very involved in agriculture and investment. A few days ago, he was at a program. In fact, his itinerary is very long, moving around, ensuring that he plays his part as a commissioner. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let's bring on stage for a short remark, Dr. John James Etem, Commissioner for Trade and Investment, Akwa Ibom State. Please, a round of applause as he comes forward. Feel free to stand up and give honor or respect to who is due. He is the commissioner who has decided to be part of this project this afternoon. Or still morning, 10 minutes shy from
another round of applause.
Thank you. Please, can we be seated? You guys are very lucky. If I fell, you would have given an elephant. Please, let me stand on the already established protocol for this event. I want to salute the organizers on behalf of His Excellency Pastor Omo Basieno, who is actually out of state, and I probably would have lured him or begged him to be here with you, at least to welcome you. He is a friend of agriculture. Before becoming commissioner, we were made commissioner the same day. We were sworn in the same day as commissioners. Before that, he was the head of the agri-management setup of the state. He has very deep passion for agriculture. But please let me take a step back and give honor to whom honor is due. And I start by saying that understanding business objectives and translating them into achievable outcomes requires leaders who are clear on how to impact and influence. 24 years ago, a couple by name Bill and Melinda, I'm sure you all know them, decided to create an unselfish and a strong foundation to enhance healthcare and reduce extreme poverty across the world. And that was the main foundation, that the main idea behind creating that foundation. And to expand educational opportunities across the entire world and give access to information technology. Individuals were Warren Buffett and Michael Larson. I'm not going to take you too far into history, but I think as people conference together, the people that have thought it wise, that has to do with young people, and that has to do with the empowerment of women. Once again, I say, welcome to Akwa Ibom. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable Commissioner. Thank you for that brief speech and marketing of Akwa Ibom State. Thank you. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for yourselves for being part and very cheerful throughout. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have scanned the program, you will know the next thing on our program right now. But before we do that, let's know how Nigerian you are. How Nigerian are you? You are very Nigerian, Abi. Very Nigerian. All right. What's the mostly eaten crop in Nigeria? What is the mostly eaten crop? Beans, rice, cassava, rice. Team Rice, raise your hand. Rice, jollof rice, fried rice, palm oil rice, ofada rice. Team Maize, rice pepper soup, Abi, for the south side. Who are those that said maize? Who said beans? Beans. Ah, beans. Mama, you said what? Akamu. Mostly eaten in Nigeria. To top the chart. Ah. Cassava. You are team cassava. Outside swallow, what do we do with cassava? Gari, akpu, fufu. Starch. My Edo people. Popo Gari. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, based on statistics, it's actually rice. We eat a lot of rice in Nigeria. Rice actually tops it. Okay, I would score the crowd. How many? 50%. We got it. All right, what is the mostly exported product? Mostly exported. Okay, no, aside oil, leave oil. This is an agri for what's our business with oil? Aside oil, mostly exported. Is it the crayfish from Akwa Ibom and Cross River? Is it cocoa? Is it cocoa? All right, cocoa has it. Mama, you said something. I know that's speciality. I would not agree. Which state in Nigeria produces more cocoa? Is Ondo State a joke to you? Which is Cross River? No, Akwa Ibom does not come close in cocoa. If you want to put this is question and answer. Oh. Which state actually tops cocoa production? Cross River State or Ondo State? Cross River State or Ondo State? Tops. I did not say on the list. Mr. Chairman, the Apasha, leave all Cross Riverians. The Apasha, she's Cross River. That's it. The answer is Ondo State. It's not Cross River. Please put your hands together for Ondo people and the Cross River people for pushing their state, even when they know it's not true. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is not going to be the last one. Okay. Surprisingly, Nigeria actually tops in the production of cassava. True or false? True or false? Did you know? If you don't know, raise your hand. You used to learn something. You've learned something today. That cassava, Nigeria actually tops in the production of cassava for food items, starch, and whatever. So that's a major export from Nigeria. All right. True or false? Nigeria was once the leading exporters of fruits. True or false? I think this is a general one. And some of us are still beefing Malaysia till now. But is it our fault? Is it their fault, rather, that came to Nigeria, got our fruit, and they have gone ahead of us? So what do we say to ourselves? Yeah. So we'll go back to the farm. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, at this point, we would love to invite the drama team as they're going to do a production that have captured Seeds of Agriculture. Please put your hands together for them. Seeds of Change, I beg your pardon, as they come for their drama presentation. Seeds of Change.
you need to try something different so that the crops are going to grow.
Tell her, my brother. She dey do tell her. The boss. I no get strength. I no come here to shout with you today. Oh. Small farm why say make I come. You know, you just dey make me the white mouth.
Now discussion now, no be fight.
I know they like all this time.
For small discussion.
Why no man get you go ask me if I don't dey read book? So because I dey follow una dey come for this place, I no fit read book again. I no like that. Now discussion now. No be discussion where I just na question.
They will leave and one day give you go pack your teeth.
Yeah, get wetin I wan ask. Come now, waka come.
Mama Deji, this thing that you want to ask me, say they sense inside.
You know say that time wey Ada dey talk, I hear as Ada dey talk of CFO abi na CAS. Wetin e mean?
Mama Deji, relax o. Since when we dey here, you dey talk. You know here, you know dey here. Na talk. You know dey here when Ada talk say CSA na climate smart agriculture.
Comot there, no be wetin Ada talk be that. I no be even you here wey dey follow dey chew, you dey chew crap for here dey chew. Who say no sabi wetin be CSO?
I no go follow. No be CSO. No, you suppose stop POS na. I say na CSA.
Comot there.
Ma comot.
Carry your own.
No worry, I go comot. I go see if snake come now, who go kill am give you. I go talk now, I go talk. Take am farm. I no dey farm again.
Una dey comot.
You see you? No worry. Na me and you.
But wetin I do dem now? No be CSA I dey ask dem. But wetin come be CS? Make I go meet Nkechi. Na Nkechi my pikin wey I dey send go school. Na him go tell me wetin be CSA. Make I go meet Nkechi for house. You are welcome.
tell me that if you put water in the root, that you can plant, save water, and grow healthier crops.
So, una dey try tell me say we go dey use drip put am for our plants. Chinedu, you are correct.
Don't mind that.
We can also use another method, which is the mulching method. I don't understand. Fatima, don't do that. Which one go be mulching? I mean,
What I not go to
you
school
for just
now.
say no, say na fertilizer now. Na fertilizer. Hey, Mama Nkechi, you are quick to conclusion. Hey, mulching is not fertilizer.
It's
No
what?
chemical.
It's what?
It is the usage of grasses to cover the soil, to keep it watery and prevent it from drying out. Exactly. We don't use chemicals to plant these days.
How come I do not know?
We can produce our own fertilizers
Hey,
through the use of plants and animal waste. It is natural, it is easy, and it enriches the soil. Exactly. Don't carry out the play.
Ada, Fatima, you see this thing where you just tell me, na. This knowledge where you don't put for my head.
Okay,
That's
I'm
my,
going to try.
if I reach house, like this, bam, I'll put water in the root.
Yes, exactly.
I'll pour water. See, my crops must look like this.
That is very good.
Let me go.
Very good.
Oh, give me
I
now.
don't understand though. You were not with me. Come here. You won't go leave me.
Madam, I don't get time. Now to farm.
Me say na farm.
I go farm my farm. Go farm your farm. I go farm my farm.
Mama Nkechi, doubting Thomas. Hope you are going to try this method. Immediately I get to my house, I will put it in the root. Like I follow Chinedu. These people, they are funny. Fatima, show me the other one. Let me show you. The one, come, let me show you. It works so.
And the farmers made use of new techniques. They made use of drip irrigation, mulching, and compost. Their farms began to flourish, even in the time of harsh weather. woman, you will not change. Eh? I am just coming from the farm. Ah, Ada. Mama, if you see my tomatoes, if you people see my tomatoes like this, they are bigger and healthier than before. Hey!
It is not magic, Chinedu. Fatima. We have to work with the nature. I'm not against it. Tell them. I was on my way to somewhere and I overheard your conversation. I'm glad this is happening. Yes, CSA is not a play. Yes.
God bless you.
You're welcome.
Ada, I am sorry, that I doubted you.
It's fine.
Don't be angry.
Doubted Thomas.
You and Fatima have shown us the way. Climate smart agriculture is the future.
Let us spread this knowledge to the young and old so that they can adapt and try.
I will spread. If it is me,
Antenna.
Chinedu.
I will tell you.
It is a future we can all be part of.
Of course,
To work together, to make it stronger, and to teach the young and the old to be aware of this CSA method.
It is true.
Together, we can build a climate smart future.
Together, we can build a climate smart future.
Ladies and gentlemen, the seed of changes were planted, and the farmers learned to adapt to the changing world. With climate smart agriculture, yes, you heard me, they discovered that the future is bright. And this call for jubilation.
Please put your hands together for the drama team. Wonderful presentation, culturally inclusive and very educative as well. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, that program, that drama we saw was Seeds of Change. All right, please celebrate the drama team again for that powerful presentation. At this point, I'd like to remind you that we still have our panel sessions and our award ceremony coming up later today. But at this point, we'd love to invite the communications manager of NABG. Please celebrate the beautiful lady, Amra Aliyu.